Let's talk about something I bet you've noticed, even if you couldn't quite put your finger on it. You know those tiny little changes in your dog? Maybe they hesitate for just a split second before jumping on the bed. Or maybe when they sit, they kind of plop down and lean to one side. These things are so easy to brush off, but they're actually your dog trying to tell you something really important, something they can't say with words.
And that's because, well, dogs are absolute masters of disguise. It's this deep, primal instinct they have left over from their wild ancestors. You see, in the wild, showing any kind of weakness, especially in their back legs, was basically a death sentence. So they will hide pain, they'll hide weakness for as long as they possibly can. And this instinct is so powerful that a problem can get pretty serious long before we ever see the signs.
And get this. This is what's really scary. By the time you see a clear, obvious limp, your dog might have already lost over a third of the essential muscle in their hind legs. Think about that. This isn't just about them getting old. No, this is what vets call a silent emergency.
So this is where we have to totally shift our thinking. This isn't some vague, unavoidable part of aging that we just have to accept. It's a specific condition. It's a hidden decline in your dog's core support system that, and this is the important part, we can actually do something about if we catch it early.
Now, a really common reaction from worried owners is to think, bones, I need to strengthen their bones, and they reach for calcium supplements. But here's the thing. For adult dogs, adding extra calcium can actually do more harm than good. It can lead to things like painful bone spurs. The real key, the true secret to their mobility, isn't harder bones. It's the strength of what we call their muscle pump. You know, the powerful muscles that support that entire skeleton.
I want you to picture this because it's the perfect analogy. Think of your dog's rear end like a suspension bridge. The bones, those are the giant, rigid steel towers. But the muscles and the ligaments, those are the thick steel cables that are actually holding the whole thing up, keeping it stable and strong. So what happens when those cables start to get weak, when they start to fray from not being used enough? Well, the whole bridge starts to wobble. That's a condition called disuse atrophy.
Okay, so enough about the problem, right? How can you actually tell what's going on with your dog? How do you see past that clever disguise they're wearing? That is exactly what we're going to do right now. We're moving from the what to the what to do, with a super simple 10-second diagnostic you can do right at home to find out the truth. All right, this whole thing is a simple 3-level test. We're going to start with just a visual check, a static alignment check. Then we'll move on to a test of how they move, and we'll finish up with the little challenge to their balance. Each level is going to give you a clear picture of their true skeletal age. So, let's get started. First up, Level 1, the static alignment check. I want you to get down on the floor behind your dog while they're just standing there, relaxed. Now, look at their overall shape. Are they built like a sturdy, four-legged table? Or do they look more like an inverted triangle, where their back legs look a lot narrower than their front shoulders? Next, gently put your hands on their thigh muscles. They should feel really firm, kind of like a flexed bicep or a tennis ball. If they feel soft and squishy, more like a deflated balloon, that's a huge sign that muscle loss has already started. Okay, now for Level 2. We are on the lookout for a very specific type of movement. It's called the bunny hop. And I know it sounds kind of cute, but trust me, it is a major red flag. It's basically a clever shortcut dogs use when their back legs are too weak to support their weight one at a time. So, how do you check for this? Easy. It's the dynamic incentive test. Just grab a treat and encourage your dog to walk forward. What you want to see is a healthy gait, where the back legs move independently. Left, right, left, right. What you're looking for is a hop, where they push off with both back legs at the exact same time. That's the bunny hop, and it is a dead giveaway that their skeletal age is getting older faster than their real age. And finally, Level 3, the proprioceptive challenge. It's a big, fancy word, but all it means is your dog's sense of where their body is in space. This test checks the communication line between their brain and their muscles. So while your dog is standing, just place a hand on their hip and give a very gentle and steady push to the side. A dog with a strong connection will instantly brace and correct their balance. But if they stumble or cross their legs or have to take a few steps to catch themselves, that tells you that communication highway between the brain and the body is starting to have some breakdowns. Okay, deep breath. So what if your dog struggled with one or even all of those tests? The first thing to know is do not panic. The best news here is that a dog's muscle tissue is incredibly resilient. It wants to work. It is absolutely not too late. We can use a couple of simple, targeted movements to help them rebuild that crucial strength. Here are the 2 game changers. First, the slow motion sit to stand.
You'll use a treat to guide them from a sit to a stand and back down again, but you have to do it in super slow motion. See, speed hides weakness, but slowness, that's what builds real foundational power. The second one is the reverse walk. This one is amazing because it literally forces their brain to wake up and reconnect with muscle fibers that have been dormant for a long time.
So let's look at this reverse walk in action. The best way to do it is in a narrow space, like a hallway, so they can't just turn around. Use a treat right at their nose to guide them backward just a few steps. I mean, think about it. When do they ever use their reverse gear? Almost never. So this movement is totally new and challenging, and it brilliantly forces their brain and their hind legs to start talking to each other again.
Now, before we wrap up, I have to share one last thing with you. This is a huge one that almost everyone misses. Let's say your dog passed all the physical tests, but you've noticed they're always obsessively licking one of their paws. You might think it's allergies, right? Well, it can actually be a sign of referred pain from nerve compression in their lower back. Basically, the nerve gets pinched, their paw feels tingly or numb, and licking is the only thing they can do to try and make it feel better.
Okay, now it's your turn. I really want to hear what you discovered. Head down to the comments and let me know your dog's breed, their age, and what you saw during the test. For example, Golden, 8 years old, bunny hopping on level 2. I'm going to be in there personally replying to as many of you as I can to offer some specific thoughts. And hey, if your dog passed with flying colors, please share your secret. Let's help each other out. At the end of the day, we owe it to them to be their advocates, to be their voice. I mean, they spend their entire lives just trying to keep up with us. Giving them this quick 10-second checkup is the very least we can do to make sure they can stay with us comfortably for as long as possible. So please, don't let this explainer just sit in your saved folder while their muscles fade. Try the test. Try it today.